Look at your feet right now. Go ahead, look down. You see them there, don't you? Solid, real, existing in this moment. What if I told you that you've never actually seen your feet in the present? Not once, not ever, and neither has anyone else. What if I told you something even stranger? Your feet from 10 minutes ago still exist, right now, at this exact moment, not as a memory, not as information, but actually physically existing in the same way your current feet exist. Does this sound completely insane? Let me prove to you why physics' most successful theory says this has to be true. Reality break. Level 1. Here's your first problem. When you look at your feet, light has to travel from your feet to your eyes. This takes time, about a picosecond. That's a trillionth of a second. So you're seeing your feet as they were a picosecond ago, not as they are now. That's ridiculous, you might say. A picosecond? That's basically nothing. That doesn't count. Fair enough. But what about nerve signals? When you wiggle your toes, the sensation travels up your leg to your brain. That takes almost a full second. When you feel your feet, you're feeling them as they were a second ago. You've never experienced your feet in the present moment, ever. Logical assumption to destruction. But that's not the real problem. You're probably thinking, sure, there are perception delays, but my feet obviously exist right now, even if I can't experience them right now. The signals eventually reach me so I can reconstruct what was happening when they were sent. This seems perfectly reasonable. And it is reasonable, but it's about to take you somewhere you really don't want to go. Reality break. Level 2. Because now we need to talk about Einstein. And Einstein's theory says there's no such thing as right now for distant objects. None. Zero. This concept doesn't exist in physics. Let me explain why. Imagine you're sitting perfectly still. To your left and right, at exactly the same distance, two flashlights go off. You see the lights at the same time. Since light traveled the same distance, you'd say those flashlights went off simultaneously, at the same moment. But someone walking past you would see one light before the other. Same flashlights, same distance, different observation. They would swear the lights didn't go off at the same time. Who's right? In classical physics, you'd expect there to be an objective answer. But Einstein's theory says no, there is no right answer. Both observations are equally valid. There is no universal now. Impossibility emphasis. Think about what this means. Right now, as you're sitting there, someone moving past you at high speed would say that events you consider to be in your future are happening right now. And someone moving in the opposite direction would say that events you consider to be in your past are happening right now. There's an observer somewhere for whom your breakfast this morning is happening right now. There's another observer for whom tomorrow's lunch is happening right now, the same moment according to Einstein's math. The same moment you're experiencing right now. How is this possible? How can the past and future be equally real and equally present? Impossibility cascade. Level 3. It gets worse. Much worse. Because the person I just described doesn't have to be moving very fast. They could be walking. They could be drifting. Any motion at all changes what counts as now, and there's no limit to how far away these observers can be. Someone in the Andromeda galaxy, moving slightly relative to you, experiences a now that includes events billions of years in your past or future. Your birth is happening right now for someone. Your death is happening right now for someone else. All of human history is unfolding simultaneously in the now of various observers scattered throughout the universe. Academic authority, questioning. Your physics teachers probably told you about relativity. They probably mentioned that time is relative, but they probably didn't explain what that actually means. They didn't explain that it completely destroys the common sense notion that only the present moment exists, because that's too weird, too uncomfortable. It's easier to focus on the math and skip the philosophical implications, but the implications are unavoidable. If Einstein's theory is right, and it's been tested with extraordinary precision, then the past, present, and future all exist in exactly the same way. How is this possible? Bombardment. How can your childhood still exist? How can tomorrow already be there? How can every moment that ever was or ever will be all exist simultaneously? Physics calls this the block universe. Past, present, and future are all equally real, all equally there. Your entire timeline, from birth to death, exists as a complete unchanging structure in four-dimensional spacetime. You don't move through time. Time doesn't flow. You and every moment of your existence just are. Unsolvable mystery revelation. And here's the truly disturbing part. This isn't some speculative idea. This isn't philosophy. This is what the mathematics of relativity requires. The most precisely tested theory in physics demands that all moments exist eternally. We don't have a choice about this. We can't just ignore it because it feels wrong. The experiments force this conclusion on us. So, what does it mean? What does it mean that your past self still exists? That your future self already exists? That everything that ever happened or will happen is all occurring right now in the vast block of space time? Mind contradiction, deepening. You might think, maybe quantum mechanics saves us. Maybe the randomness of quantum mechanics means the future isn't predetermined. But no, quantum uncertainty works both ways. You can't predict the future from the present, but you also can't deduce the past from the present. The uncertainty flows in both directions through time. Quantum mechanics doesn't rescue our intuition about time. It's perfectly compatible with the block universe. The mathematics of quantum mechanics has no concept of now either. No special present moment, no flowing time, final blow, ultimate impossibility. So, where does that leave us? If the block universe is real, if all moments exist equally, then your experience of time flowing is what? An illusion? A limitation of consciousness? Something we've evolved to feel but that doesn't correspond to reality? Maybe time isn't something that happens to the universe. Maybe time is something that happens to us. Maybe our brains construct the experience of flowing time out of the static, eternal structure of space-time. Maybe consciousness is just a particular way of moving through the block universe, creating the illusion of now as it goes. Existential realization. But here's what really keeps me up at night. If this is true, if the block universe is real, then every conversation we've ever had still exists. Every goodbye is eternal. Every moment of joy, every moment of pain, they're all still there, frozen in the architecture of space-time. Your future self already knows how this video ends. Your past self is experiencing your childhood right now. All of it is equally real, equally present, equally eternal. Time isn't flowing. We are. Honest confession. I've been thinking about this for 30 years and I still don't really understand what it means. No one does? We can do the math, we can make predictions, we can build GPS satellites that depend on relativistic time dilation. But understanding what it means for all moments to exist simultaneously, understanding what it means that there is no universal now, that might be beyond human comprehension. Maybe some questions don't have satisfying answers. Maybe some truths are just too strange for evolved apes to fully grasp. Final twist. But here's the strangest part of all. Even if your future is already there, even if every decision you'll ever make is already frozen in the block universe, what you choose still matters. Because those choices are part of the structure of space time. Your decisions don't change the future, they are the future. The block universe exists the way it does precisely because of what you will do. You're not a prisoner of a predetermined future. You're a co creator of the eternal architecture of space time itself. And that might be the most impossible thing of all to understand. Closing. So the next time you look at your feet, remember you're not seeing them now. You're seeing them in the past. And somewhere in the vast structure of space time, every moment of their existence, from the first time you learned to walk to the last time you'll ever stand, all of it exists simultaneously. Time doesn't flow, it just is, all of it, always. And we're still trying to figure out what that means.